and now he has to explain why race matters because you guys are constantly highlighting it. You kept calling her the first black Indonesian woman, check all the boxes, vice president. And now it's like, but why did you say that she was black? Why did you talk about her race, sir? It's literally all you guys can talk about, race and who people like to screw. That's all you guys want to talk about. But now he has to explain himself. Well, I was going to say welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered, but I'm not sure we're going to have a show today because I'm about to flip my table and walk out of here. We have Matthew Marsden, Blaze TV contributor, not for long. Also actor and producer extraordinary.
I'm being cancelled by the rights.
Okay. Also, Jason Buttrell, chief researcher of the Glenn Beck program, and they're giving me about my intro song.
La 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 la.
It's a... Well, it was a jam until you guys ruined it.
I just asked Jason if he had PTSD.
I was curled up in the corner. I was thinking about IEDs and stuff. It was pretty insane.
This is why I brought my friends, the drinking bros, a hard AF seltzer today because I knew I was going to have to deal with you guys. And I dealt with the debate last night. And this just hits differently today. So I guess I'll let you guys stay.
Okay. Thank you.
Just today, to go through the debate lowlights, I guess. So obviously we had a debate in which it was 3 against 1. Mm-hmm. And I want to go through this and, we can talk about who was necessarily the winner or the loser. I'm not sure that there was one in this particular debate. There was no clear.
No, there was. The entire country was the loser.
Well, thank you. But I don't think that there was necessarily a clear winner, is what I meant. But certainly, if you're Trump, you can't win when you're playing a game by yourself against 3 different people who are ganging up on you. So it was rigged from the start, I'd like to just say before we go through this.
Can I say that I would say that the winner was the establishment in this because they got exactly what they wanted to get off of this. I mean, the vast majority of people that were watching last night, I think, are not like this audience. They're not like the people sitting at this table right now. They're the people or let me just say, actually clarify, independents. They could probably really go either way. And don't follow this 24/7.
Yeah.
But they saw a credible news organization constantly correcting one candidate and not correcting the other candidate at all. So when they go out and say, there was some chick on CNN that was saying, when someone lies constantly, they're going to get more fact checks than the person that's not lying constantly. Well, that's what everyone's thinking.
So let's talk about that. So Jason, you're getting ahead.
That's what I do.
Cut it out. So let's talk about some of those. But first I want to play, you talk about what a contrast of vision that Kamala has for the country versus Donald Trump. But there is one similarity between Trump and Kamala Harris. Let's watch.
Please. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. You don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well,
I'm speaking.
Be important if you said the truth.
Oh, God, that face is just so disgusting and condescending. So
she practiced that.
Oh, 1,000,000%. Oh, you mean to tell me that she practiced?
Oh, yeah.
This?
Yeah. Everything was so choreographed between the opening handshake.
This doesn't look normal to you?
You do that all the time.
Now I'm not leaning. She's not leaning it on the table because it didn't fit. So it's just, I do this all the time.
I thought it was weird that when she went to go shake his hand in the beginning, she was already like that. I was like, wait a minute. She's like,
Kamala Harris, she said as she shook his hand, like, he knows who you are. Yeah. Kidding. We all know. So there was obviously a really huge contrast, Jason, you just mentioned it, between the way that these moderators, David Muir and Lindsay Davis, fact-checked Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. And so they seemed to just not fact-check Kamala at all in any of her lies. And trust me, there were many. So let's go ahead and do the fact-checking for them. Okay? Let's play Kamala Harris disgustingly accusing Donald Trump of inciting violence with the word bloodbath. Watch.
On that point, Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
Yeah, actually, fact check, Kamala. He was speaking to a rally audience about the Chinese manufacturing vehicles in Mexico. And if action isn't taken, that it will be a bloodbath for our country, for that industry, of course. But I mean, I have two brain cells to rub together. So I understand that. Unfortunately, Kamala doesn't. Here is the actual remarks in context. Watch.
Mexico has taken over a period of 30 years 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it. Went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. Now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it.
It's right there.
I mean, he's clearly talking about civil war, and people shooting each other and all. I mean, it was so obvious.
It was actually just a veiled threat.
Yeah.
If you don't elect me, people will die. Yeah. That's what he meant. If you're retarded, okay?
It's, the thing that gets me about this, I mean, I always tell my kids the worst thing you can do, and this is a good thing for you parents at home, I'm sure you do it anyway, say, just don't lie to me. Just do not lie to me. And so when you hear the lies, and you know it, like literally, I'd got the show on. I was streaming Blaze last night. I'm sure everyone here we were streaming the show. And I was listening to it as I was driving, and it was driving me crazy. Like I was literally, stop, it's a lie. You are lying. Like, stop it. Like, is this where we are now? And again, 2 months ago, they tried to kill President Trump. They tried to kill President Trump, and they are not dialing back the rhetoric at all. They're putting this stuff out because if you can say that he's a Nazi, if you can say he said there's going to be a bloodbath, guess what? It gives permission to crazies to come out the other way. Mm-hmm. They haven't learned a thing, or maybe they have. Maybe this is all, all intentional.
I'll go. Yeah, they cannot allow him to win this. Yeah. And I don't put anything past them at all. I don't think that they lose sleep over the fact that they think maybe if I said something irresponsible like this, maybe it would incite more violence. I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibilities for these people. I don't. They'll try to jail him. They're still trying to jail him. When all these things do not work, after indictment after indictment after indictment, everything else, violence at the end of the day, I do not think that is outside their realm. I do not think it.
So, Matt, you mentioned, you're listening to this and you're just like, oh my God, she's lying. She's completely taking that out of context. Surely the moderators are going to say something. Oh, no, they didn't. But here's what they did do. Donald Trump started talking about Haitians eating family pets, and they were really quick to come in and fact check on that. Watch.
Clarify here, you bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
television. But the people on television saying their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Yeah, also the Federalist just obtained audio of a police call of people saying that Haitians were taking geese. But no, the city manager responded to ABC News in an email and made sure to tell. Now, we don't know what the political affiliations are of that city manager. We have no idea. Go ahead.
Okay, so the city freaking manager, how do you think that 20,000 immigrants, migrants, illegals, whatever, got to Springfield, Ohio? How do we think it happened? Do we think that possibly the city got tons, millions of federal funds in exchange for this little program? And then that gets filtered down to NGOs that start flocking into some of these cities. Then that money goes from there to all the housing areas where they're going to. Then there was some asshole that was on the guy was on TV either yesterday or today. It's going around X right now, where he's a manufacturing owner, and he's like, "Man, that's not the case that I'm seeing from my Haitian migrants that are here in Ohio. That they're great workers, blah blah. I don't see." What? Are you kidding me? Of course you're going to say that because you're probably paying them $1.99 every 5 hours to do the same job.
Yep.
That's why. I cannot believe this is so crap. These are the same people that are now trying to fact check him on that.
Right.
That were like, when was this, 2016, 2015? They're like, oh my God, I just heard a rumor that Donald Trump is peeing on prostitutes in Moscow. Yeah. It totally happened, guys. Yeah. Let's get FISA warrants. He was doing that. He's a Russian asset? Are you kidding? They believe that with no outside information at all, that they went and tried to get themselves and printed it in the New York Times, Washington Post, and everything and said it was true.
Totally unverified.
And this thing, they're like, oh, they're doing this. Oh, there's no evidence of this. We talked to the city manager.
The city manager told us so. Yeah.
F you.
I know.
F you.
It's disgusting. So here's another fact check. All right. Fact check number 2. You alluded to it, Matt, calling Trump a Nazi, trying to act like he's a white supremacist. You remember the very fine people remark that they have taken 1 billion freaking times and used out of context. Here is Kamala doing it again on the debate stage last night.
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
Look, this lie is so egregious that even Snopes, the right-wing, far-right, alt-right Snopes. No, actually, they're very left-wing. Even Snopes has up there, you guys can see it. No, Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. So, you know what? Just for funsies, let's go ahead and play Donald Trump's actual remarks because they actually exist, right? They're there to just fact check Kamala in real time. Watch.
Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
No fact check. No fact check by the ABC moderators. But you know what? Let's go ahead and play ABC News moderators pressing Donald Trump on Kamala's race. And I think you'll find a little bit of difference in their handling of these candidates. Watch.
Mr. President, you recently said of Vice President Harris, quote, "I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black." I want to ask a bigger picture question here tonight. Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's black. Up to her.
And she's black.
What's funny is the whole point of that is that race is a big deal for them. So
Right,
whatever
exactly.
race is going to fit her the best and get her the most votes, that's what they run to.
Right. Exactly.
And
They're like, wait, what do you mean? Why is race important? You guys have been making race the most important thing in the entire world for the last, decade?
Yeah.
Probably longer. And now he has to explain why race matters because you guys are constantly highlighting it. You kept calling her the first Black Indonesian woman, check all the boxes, vice president. And now it's like, but why did you say that she was Black? Why did you talk about her race, sir? It's literally all you guys can talk about, race and who people like to screw. That's all you guys want to talk about. But now he has to explain himself.
But no, you can't talk about that now, right? You can't talk about who people want to screw. You can't talk about Willie Brown. You can't talk about that, right? And look, and again, we know, right? I just did talk about Willie Brown, didn't I?
Yeah,
Did I just talk about Willie Brown? I talked about Willie Brown.
You
did. But if you're looking at, again, the point that he's trying to make is all the pictures before was that she's Indian, right? And she wasn't speaking whatsoever. And this is a very peculiar thing because even if you look at Obama, and Obama his dad wasn't around, who was Black and was not around, and he was raised by his white mom. But then all of a sudden that is just discarded, and all of a sudden he's Black, he's not white. Now, I've always thought that this is really completely bonkers to me because, I have a mixed race son. And so does that mean that side of his family is completely dismissed with, right? Like it's just gone. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
Well, that's why people, I am mixed race as well. And people are like, you're white because you're mixed. And I'm like, no. If Obama was the first Black president, I get to pick which one I get to. He did it and he was president and the record books show that he was the first Black president. So I can choose. I can pick and choose. Obama told me so. Okay, let's play one more before we go to break and then I want to go through some of the other ones here afterwards. But this one, for me, was one of the most enraging because of how much Donald Trump has been put through over something that was just a total lie and a total farce. Now, here is Kamala on Donald Trump's role in January 6th. Watch.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the president of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital,
She's a despicable human being.
to desecrate our nation's capital. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died.
No,
and
they
understand,
didn't.
the former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason.
Okay, so first of all, Kamala says, I was at the Capitol that day. Well, yeah, after the riot. You weren't there during the riot. Do you know how we know that? Because of our very own Steve Baker's reporting that you were actually at the DNC while all of this was going on. By the way, still haven't explained why you were at the DNC and why you were not there. She showed up hours afterwards.
We could subpoena the phone records of her Secret Service agents and find out. Something happened to those,
yeah,
sir?
they're gone.
Oh, they just got erased.
It was a oopsies. It was an oopsies.
That happens all the time.
Right. Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah. I mean, it says like, are you sure you want to delete? Right. So it gives you a backstop and you're like, yes. Oh,
crap.
Shoot. I meant no. And so you see, I mean, just lie after lie. And of course, the most egregious part of that, we all know Donald Trump did not incite any violence during his speech at the Capitol. Of course. Watch.
We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
By the way, Ashley Babbitt was the only one who died that day. Police officers did not die that day. And the one who did days later, it did not stem from January 6th. So
they think that we're idiots, that we don't know our own facts. And they keep repeating this like it's the truth. And this is the real propaganda, right?
The problem is that there are enough idiots, I fear. There are some that will believe that propaganda. That's why they do it.
And not just idiots, but I still think the majority of the country do not follow it that closely.
Right.
So the more lies you tell and you keep spitting it out, boom, 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 boom. They know the very fine people thing has already been fact checked by the real people. But the majority of the people will hear that and go, well, this must be true. And this has been said so many times.
And if you say it in such a compelling way, that was obviously overacting. But if you say it in such a compelling way, they're like, well, she's saying it.
And if
she means it.
And if your allies in the media propaganda machine fail to say anything differently when your opponent's standing up there and he's constantly getting fact checked,
right,
that's another check mark in your corner.
Right. Okay. When we come back, let's get through another few of these, and then I want to see if you guys noticed some of Kamala Harris's accessories that she chose for last night. Very interesting, very peculiar. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Relief Factor. So Relief Factor is there for those of you who live in constant pain. You just think, this is my life now, and it kind of sucks. Well, Relief Factor has actually worked for every single person at this table. Myself, Matt Marsden has used it, and it's been successful. Jason Buttrell has used it, and it's been successful for him. And so what it does is, if you whatever pain you have, you got elbow pain, you got neck pain, back pain, knee pain, whatever, it targets the inflammation in your body. It's a very, very strong anti-inflammatory, which actually, it gets rid of the root cause of your pain. So it's not going to be a topical cream that you're just going to rub on and it's just masking your pain. It's just going to totally eliminate it. Go to relieffactor.com. They've got a 3-week quick start. It's $19.95 and they've got a guarantee. So you've got nothing to lose except your pain. Could be life-changing for you. Relieffactor.com. So going back to the debate, Donald Trump, of course, tried to, which I think rightfully so, tried to bring up Kamala's flip-flops, which, it's hard to get them all in there because there are quite a few that she is now flip-flopping on when it comes to what she's claiming her vision for America is, what her policy and platforms are. And one of those was defund the police. But Kamala, you'll see here, when Donald Trump brings up that she wanted to defund the police, she says, that's a lie. Watch.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now.
So you see her. That's
mind,
not
please.
true.
Does that sound familiar?
You lie. That's what she said. You lie.
Went out in Minnesota.
How evil do you have to be to know that that's exactly what you did? And he's exactly correct. And you stand there and look him in the eye and say, that's not true. You lie. What an evil person. Because here, of course, is Kamala talking about defunding the police. Watch.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
Look, right. So here's the thing. Defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety. And when you have many cities that have 1/3 of their entire city budget focused on policing, we know that is not the smart way and the best way or the right way to achieve safety. For too long, the status quo thinking has been you get more safety by putting more cops on the street. Well, that's wrong.
But no fact check from the moderators. No fact check. Nothing. Now, I want to get y'all's thoughts on this because not only did they not fact check when she was claiming that's a lie, no, it's not, but they did make sure to fact check Donald Trump when he was talking about what we all know, what we all see around us, which is violent crime is up, and that, not so. Watch.
Crime is down all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But
excuse me,
Harris,
the FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud, just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. Why didn't they include some of those cities? Because the cities are so overrun with crime, they just stopped reporting the data. So when you don't have the data to include, the numbers get skewed. I mean, it's incredible to me We're watching this world around us. We're watching the illegals in the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City cooking meats off of shopping carts. Did you guys see this? Mm-hmm. Outside on the streets, grilling meat off of a shopping cart homemade grill. I mean, it's everywhere. But no, violent crime, all of it. No, it's not up. It's not up. Please, the FBI told us so.
Yeah, you said how evil is this person, Kamala, to be like lying like this, knowing you're lying and saying it, right there to his face. I don't blame Kamala at all on that because she's a politician and all politicians lie, they exaggerate, they do all of these things. I blame entirely, because we all know who Kamala, at least all of us, we know who Kamala is. She's bad news. I blame entirely those two moderators right there and the ABC network in general as a whole.
I mean, they can never be taken seriously again.
Never.
No.
I can't. I mean, it is so. First off, it's not the moderator's job to fact check what one candidate says. It's the job of the person that's on the other podium.
Yeah.
That's their job to come back, retort with a fact check. That's what it is. Now, if moderators want to change the rules and say, no, we're going to fact check every single thing, which the only reason they would do that is because the moderator, the journalist, wants to be the star.
Right.
Not the two candidates up there. But if they want to change the rules, then you have to make it 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1. Mm-hmm. Follow-up question. I don't remember a single follow-up question on Kamala. Mm-hmm. There was zero fact checks and like 4 or 5 on Donald Trump. It couldn't have been more obvious. The GOP, this is what they need to do. Completely boycott ABC. Mm-hmm. Completely. Don't give them another guest. Don't give them another comment. Nothing. Yeah. A complete blackout. See how they like it going into the election, especially election night.
Right.
They're going to be S and bricks.
So, Matt, I want to get your thoughts, but let's just sum up all of these lies in this fact check here, because I want to show you guys something. Kamala's accessory is, of course, and see what you think. But I want to play. I know some of these lies we have already played for you, but I just want to show you how many times she was allowed to lie in 2 minutes without a single word from the moderators. Now, we might not play the full 2 minutes. I just want to give you just kind of the idea. The point is, this is a total media controlled state at this point. Watch.
Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi, but I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there.
Nope, actually, I thought I could do it, but I don't. I can't. I can't stomach it. I can't stomach it. Never mind. Oh, nope. Can't watch it again.
That was a live televised campaign event for her. That's all it was.
I know. And that's why I started this saying, there were people that were saying that Donald Trump lost last night. I disagree, but certainly you can't win a debate when you're arguing against 3 different people who are carrying water for the other. There's just literally no way to win in a situation like that. Just like there's no way to win in a rigged election. If the system is rigged against you, there's no way. You could do as well as you want and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, can I say the idea was not to give him the opportunity to win or lose.
Right.
It was just to have one single narrative from one candidate.
Right.
That was it. And it was so obvious. I've never seen it more obvious.
And by the way, it was just character assassination the entire night.
Yeah, with the questions they chose.
Right.
How they, and the order in which they directed them.
Right. It was just character. I didn't hear anything from Kamala about her price control policies and how that's actually going to help. I didn't hear anything.
Do not bring that up.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't hear anything about policy because they were too busy asking Kamala, how do you feel about what Donald Trump said about your race? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we've said it over and over. They're trying to make it a personality, a war on the personalities rather than the facts, because they simply don't have the facts. But I think that looking back, because I was very frustrated last night. I think most of us were like, hit her back. And then in the light of day, the cold light of day today, you look back and you're like, that was horrendous. I mean, that was so biased and just. It's easy for us on the outside to look in, and we're frustrated because we see the lies, right? Just if we're talking about just lies generally about someone being presented in a certain way that is inaccurate, right? Let's just put a pin in that a second. Imagine you are Donald Trump and you ran for president. You were a billionaire making all this money. Everybody loved you, and you ran for president. They loved you before they hated you. Then they flipped on him. they've tried to drag him through and prosecute him and put him in jail. And now he's sitting there opposite them, and they are just blatantly lying. Now, I don't know about you, but I would not be able to keep my cool.
Right.
Because, like I said, when you're there, you're in the debate, you've got to be like really focused on what is being said, right? You've got to be able to come back. But he's got all this going on, and he's keeping that down, that this woman is lying about him to his face.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I agree. I thought he showed great restraint.
He absolutely
throughout
did.
the entire night.
Absolutely did.
So let's talk about Kamala's earring, or should I say hearings? Okay, because you guys remember that one of the things that Kamala wanted to bring into the debate were notes. Kamala's team said, we want to change the rules and we want to allow notes, which of course changes like the meaning of a debate. And they said no, but I'm just saying, what if she decided that she would wear an earpiece disguised as an earring instead, because this is a thing, okay? This is the Nova HA audio earrings. They are clip-on earphones. Do we have a picture? They're like, yeah, there it is. They're like conventional earrings. So look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Does that not look the same to you?
It's similar.
You put them in the earlobes, and it projects sound from inside the pearl straight into your ear. And so the whole idea, I don't think we have time to play the full ad, but the whole idea is that the sound travels from the earlobe to the ear canal, and so there's no sound leakage, so nobody can hear you. It's totally private is how they market this whole thing. And it just looks very similar. And I've just never seen her wear earrings like this before. And my producer was telling me earlier that he went back and looked through pictures and didn't see her wearing these particular earrings ever before. Maybe if there's a picture out there, please send it to me. I'd love to see. But I mean, she did seem much more on point, certainly, than I've ever seen her. Maybe that's why.
I think that is a fair question to ask, as in what. Let's just take away. I know I'm not going to go down the conspiracy theory route on that. I'm not going to. Okay, I'm not going to.
Gosh,
I'm not going to. I'm not going there.
We're going to break.
No, but there's a clear difference between the way she's been on every other debate, which is a complete car wreck. She's terrible. I mean, all you got to do is go back to the Tulsi Gabbard thing, and Tulsi just ate her lunch, right? I mean, just destroyed her. She's never been good at this. And then all of a sudden she delivers. For her is a great performance. I mean, it was. You got to look at it now. It's not like scoring wins. It's like not messing up that badly for them, because she's terrible. And that was, by her standards, a good performance. I mean, there wasn't any word salad. She didn't like go off into the way she normally does, into this kind of like mystical realm where she says the same thing over and over again like 6 times. And she didn't do that once. So either she had fantastic prep, which I'm sure she did have great prep, to be honest, because I keep telling this, if you, Hollywood is the party, the Democrats are the party of Hollywood. They can call anybody to come in and go and work debate with her. And we don't do that.
Yeah.
So even if it's not, let's just say she did that prep, I still don't have the confidence that she'd be that good on the night.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't like being the only conspiracy theorist at the table. So
well, you're definitely not.
Okay.
No,
All right. Last
I'm
word
not
then,
saying
Jason,
it's
real
not.
quick. No, you're not. No, you're no fun. I don't know.
I'm not saying it was the aliens, but it was the aliens.
Listen, if you would have liked my intro music, then maybe I would have come back to you. But I don't want to talk to you about it anymore.
Not talking.
Okay, last word really quick.
The technology's definitely there.
Right.
I don't put it past them to try something like this. The thing is that you're never going to get a media that's actually curious enough to try and find out about it. But she didn't even need that, because she already had a new major news network, ABC, in league with her.
Yeah.
I also probably think that they probably gave her the questions, set her everything up in advance. I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I believe you. I believe you.
Yes.
We're going to go to break. We'll be right back. By the way, a couple different things. First of all, I forgot to tell you guys. Oh yeah, wait, Stephen. Steven has a picture. I don't have to do that. Go get my shirt. If you watched last night's debate and you're like, I'm voting for Donald Trump, I don't care. You can go to saramerch.com and go get the I'm voting for the convicted felon shirt, coffee mug, what have you. You can save
baseball shirt.
10%. Yeah, it's sick. It's really cool. Sarah 10, you can save 10% by using that code, saramerch.com. Okay, so by the way, just just to go back to the last conversation for a second, I am aware Chucks and pearls, I believe, was Kamala's slogan because she did wear pearls. And we all know Kamala does love her a good pearl necklace. So I'm not saying she's never worn pearls. I'm just saying those specific, they were a very specific.
I'm glad you went there.
That's true.
I'm glad you went there because we would have been called all kinds of names if we would have said that. I'm just saying.
Well, I just think we need to ask Willie Brown and see what he has to say. So, we talk about this Haitian, situation, crisis, invasion, I would say. And it's hard because while I do love the cat memes and I do want to inject them into my veins, it is a very serious situation in some of these cities that have all of these Haitians that are coming in masse with no place to put them. And they obviously, they don't care about our rules and our laws and all of that. And I want to play a woman in Springfield talking about a Haitian behind the wheel killing her mother-in-law.
Everyone is talking about the death of ducks and cats in this town, but I'd like to talk about the death of one very special person, my mother-in-law, Kathy Heaton. On December 1st, I received a phone call that changed my life forever. She was collecting her trash can from her driveway when a car struck and killed her instantly. A task she had done over 2,000 times, spanning 4 decades in Springfield. That morning, though, a Haitian immigrant was allegedly driving recklessly when he struck and killed her. I say allegedly because to this day, there's been no punishment, not even for the expired tags on the vehicle he was driving. Months before she was killed, I began noticing the reckless driving and complete disregard for our driving laws by some members of the Haitian community. It made me angry. But now my anger has turned to fear for the safety of my family and the citizens of Springfield. I'd been to Haiti 14 years ago. My husband and I went, and it was my first time in a third world country. I sobbed when I saw the poverty living there, and I have great empathy and compassion for them, longing for a safe place to call home. But 14 years later, I'm living in fear in my own city. It's not safe. I am paralyzed with anxiety when I'm getting my children out of the car in any parking lot, walking on any sidewalk, and driving on any road in this town. I'm haunted by the faces I saw when I had to bear the news to my children and husband that she was dead. Their grandmother, the very person who tucked my 7-year-old twins into bed just 6 hours before on her 71st birthday, was never coming back. What everyone has feared is my reality, and it's my grief, and it should be yours as well. It saddens me greatly to think about leaving a place I've made a home, raised my children, became an active member of this community by providing medical care to the underprivileged and underserved, volunteering, serving.
You hear the story, right? And so this is why, last night when we were talking about the debate, I said, I only feel a little bit underwhelmed because I feel like there were missed opportunities that Donald Trump had that he didn't take. And this was one of them. You talk about the missing pets, okay? Talk about the dogs, talk about the cats, that's fine. But also make sure to say, but more importantly, people are dying in this country who didn't have to because we are letting in these people who have no regard for our law. Lake and Riley's family would like to have a word with anyone saying these people are just coming here in search for a better life. And if he would have done that, I think that it would have taken him to a new level. Again, I understand talking about the Haitians eating people's pets because that's it's a great point to make that if you import the third world, you will become the third world. And that is part of the point. But we can't lose sight of the fact that people are being killed in this country because we have decided that it is a good idea to import a bunch of illegal, unvetted strangers. And I wish that he would have capitalized on that a little bit more.
Agreed. And I know Donald Trump knows this point, but that is the ridiculousness. And I'm sorry to make, when I make this point, for all the intense cat lovers and for all the intense geese lovers.
No, I don't intensely love geese.
The geese and cat memes were never about just the geese and the cats.
Right.
The ludicrousness, the ridiculousness of this entire thing.
Yes.
That's kind of the point.
Yes.
A vast majority of the country turned their backs on the fact that people were dying.
Right.
The media tried to say, oh, migrants aren't committing more crimes. You know, when you put it all into perspective, I'm sorry. But the people, when you look at numbers and people putting it into perspective, they see only one thing. That illegal that is here now, if they would not have been here,
Right.
my child, my grandmother, whoever would still be alive.
Right.
That is the point. And it's so ridiculous that it took a meme of a cat
Yep.
or a meme of a goose for people to go finally say, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
for a freaking ridiculous hack of a moderator to even inject himself and try and fact check on that. That took him a meme to finally recognize this is a big deal. You can't take 20,000 people of a completely different culture,
Right.
inject them into a town of 50,000 and expect everything to be perfectly fine.
Right. Yeah.
Meme away then.
Right.
I say meme away.
Right.
Keep them going.
Right.
Well,
right.
unfortunately, the truth is that the left would rather react over a cat or a goose dying
Right.
Yeah,
than
it
they would a
is.
human being. I mean, that is the absolute truth.
Well, they're fighting for their right to kill you.
Well, that's it. So you've got a hierarchy. You've got a clear hierarchy, right? We've got people that are saying that they want to, and this is another thing they tried to get him on as well, is that you can have an abortion, you can actually have a partial birth abortion and whatever.
Replace that with dogs.
And people would lose their minds.
Right.
Lose their minds.
They would lose their minds. And this is the problem. And we've said this, and I'm going to say it again, guys. I'm really sorry. Okay, you have to get involved. The only reason why they're getting away with this is the first person that got killed by an illegal alien, there should have been absolute millions of people in the street protesting it and saying, enough, it's done. And the only reason why they're getting away with it because they're being allowed to get away with it because we are not going to them and taking the fight to them. Simple.
Well said, my friend. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. So an update in the most recent, the Apalachee school shooting. There's new body cam footage that's been released from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office after, of course, the FBI received a tip last year that this particular boy had threatened to shoot up a school. And I want to play for you guys this body cam footage. And I want you guys to tell me, I'm watching it and I'm immediately like, this kid is lying and it's totally obvious. Why did the cop just say, okay, goodbye? Watch.
Hey Colt, what's going on, bud? Saying that somebody from your old address over there in Traditions had made a threat to shoot up a school.
For real?
Yes, sir.
What? Tell me what.
You have any kids or anything living here?
Yeah, Colt Gray.
Yeah, this is out of order.
Colt, he's my oldest son.
How old is he?
He's 13.
Do you have weapons in the house?
I do.
Are they accessible to him?
They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are down.
So this is his father, Colin Gray, those of you who are listening.
We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year. You know, so like I'm pretty much in shock, to be honest with you.
Well,
I'm a little pissed off, to be even really honest with you. I don't know anything about him saying like that, and I'm gonna be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to him. You know, I'm trying to be honest with you, I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how whatever, where this is coming from is no joke.
No.
Like, it's no joke.
But we wouldn't be here if it was.
No, I know. And I'm telling you right now, we talk about it quite a bit. Okay. All the school shootings, things that happen.
Yeah, scary.
Hey, are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school.
All right, here he comes.
Hey, Colt, what's going on, bud? So did your dad kind of explain everything to you?
Said something about shooting up a school.
Shifting around.
Did he say something about school shooting?
Never. I just told him. I don't know what. Maybe they misheard somebody else. I don't remember say that.
I don't remember saying that.
You never ever said.
No, I swear.
I'd hate to. You know, my boss was even like, you know, I don't know how old this information is, and if you want to wait till Monday to follow up, I was like, nah, I'd rather do it now, because.
So would we.
Because God forbid something happened and I didn't do my job, I'd feel pretty bad about that. Take it at your word, and I hope you're being honest with me. I'm not saying you're lying, but it's
a serious thing.
It's not unusual for people to lie to police.
Why is he moving?
You look me in the eye and you tell me that's what you're telling me, I got no choice but to take it.
No, we don't have the Discord part.
I was telling your dad, if you find out otherwise, then it's a different story, okay?
It's a really different story.
No. So there's a part where he asks him, do you have a Discord? And he says, Discord? Like what? Like that's one of the telltale signs that someone is about to lie, is they repeat back what you just asked them so that they are like trying to think of something to say. Have you ever had a Discord account? Discord? Yeah, Discord. Yeah, I did, but I don't anymore. Oh, when was the last time you used it? A couple months ago. That seems strange. Is that not? He's shifting around. He has his hands in his pockets. But this officer, who apparently has never been around children before at all, says, well, if you look me in the eye and tell me that you didn't do it, then I'm just going to take you at your word. Really? Is that how we deal with 13-year-olds now? It seemed completely obvious to me that he was lying. Is that just me?
Well,
I will say, when I watched it, it had the Discord thing in there, and that was like the biggest thing to me. But
yeah, I mean, look, when you are pulled up in front of cops, I think it's understandable that a young boy would perhaps feel a little bit awkward, right? So I'm going to put that, or feel self-conscious. I understand that. But firstly, the first thing I would do when the police showed up was I'd be like, get him out now. Come down here right now, stand there. And I'd be I'd be in his face the whole time looking at my son go in. If you look back at that, the dad does not look at the son hardly at all. He's sitting down, he's looking away. And
well, he's obviously he's accused of being totally abusive to this kid, and now he stands trial for murder as well.
Yeah, but I mean, just for me as a dad, and I've known that when, we've all been in a situation where our kids have been in trouble.
Sure.
I'm like,
yeah,
I want to know right now, because your kids, know your kids, if they're lying.
Right. Yeah, he seems to have no interest.
So I'm more like looking at the dad going, why aren't you, the first thing, the cops knock on the door, right? Well, let's ask him right now. Let's get him down right here. Boom, put him on the spot.
Yeah, we've got like 45 seconds. Go.
He did look like he was being deceitful.
I thought so.
As well, but I don't know.
He's like, I don't remember ever saying that. I mean, you'd remember if you ever threatened to shoot up a school. I'm just saying.
And that encounter was done so informally.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't have both the father and the son go down to the police station, really look into that Discord claim and go through it more.
Because he claimed that he got hacked. Well, you should be able to prove that somehow.
And yeah, there's this very horrifying trend here where they don't take these things seriously. They don't enforce the laws that are even out there. And then afterwards they use the scapegoat of, well, there was a gun in the house.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what they want to blame instead.
Yeah.
They just don't take school safety seriously at all.
No, but give up your guns, because don't worry, the government will protect you. Oh, wait, except that's just one in a long line of failures on large part due to the government. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. So today is obviously the 23rd anniversary of 9/11, and Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Biden, and Harris, and Chuck Schumer were all at the same place in New York for a commemoration of a ceremony for our fallen heroes. And there were a lot of Donald fans in the audience, I guess. Watch some of this. So they shook hands. It's unclear if she said Kamala Harris again as she was shaking his hand.
She's still doing this. Stuck there.
So they're just cheering the whole time. We love you, Donald. We love you, Donald. Kamala. Okay, no, that's good. That's good. How much do you want to bet that nobody was waving at Kamala?
Nobody was. Of course nobody was. She's like, hey, like imaginary person, I'm going to wave at you.
Good to see you.
Wave at you.
Hey. Everyone's like, we're cheering for Donald, not you. So funny.